to another Cook With Me. Tonight we're going to be making some healthy DIY granola bars. Some things you're going to need are some vanilla extract, some oats. I'm just using Quaker oats, some brown sugar, coconut, chocolate chips, ground flax seeds. Make sure they're grounded and they're not like the actual seeds. And some Cheerios. You can use Rice Krispies, Fruit Loops, Reese's Puffs, whichever you'd like. Today I'm just going to use Honey Nut, some melted butter, and optional some walnuts. And we're going to get back to a great tip with those. Some other things you're going to need are just a 1 cup measuring cup, a 1/2 cup, a 1/3 cup, and a 1/4 cup. And then, of course, just a knife, a spoon, and a mixing bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my ingredients into the bowl. So we're going to start with 2 1/4 cups of the oats. So I already have everything pre-measured out as well. And then I'm going to add a 1.5 cups. I had to use 2 little ones here for my cereal. Push those off to the side. And we're going to add a 1/3 cup of coconut. And then we're going to add the walnuts. So a great thing for these is definitely some fine motor. They break easily in your hand if you push down on them. So a great way that you can get your little ones using their fine motor skills is before putting them in the bowl, put them in a bag and get them to squish it and break it up with their fingers. It's a great fine motor skill. Alrighty, so what else we're gonna add is our butter. And then we are going to add our brown sugar. And all the different measurements will be put in a post afterwards. I just have my recipe printed out that I'm following along. Alrighty, so now we are going to add the chocolate chips and the flax seeds. And then we are going to need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So, just making sure I don't get a tablespoon. There we go. Alrighty, let's get that up on in there. There we go. So we're gonna mix that all together. I have my spoon, and we're just gonna mix it together. And this is again another great fine motor skill that you can do with your children is getting them to actually just hold the spoon and using their wrists and their hands and their fingers to support to mix it all around and make sure everything gets mixed together. Sometimes because of the brown sugar, how it clumps together, I like to just push down on it so that it really just gets mixed all together. And like I mentioned, you can use a bunch of different things. You don't have to use Cheerios, you don't have to use chocolate chips, you can use mini marshmallows, whichever your preference of flavor is. So in just a pan, I am going to put my parchment paper, and you want to make sure it hangs over the sides, like a lot. And then it'll sit a lot better once this gets in here. So I'm just putting it into the pan. And I'm just squishing it down with the spoon so it gets nice and flat. And a great thing about these is that you don't even need to use your oven. It's a no-bake recipe, which is always fun, especially on those hot summer days when you don't want to turn your oven on. So just flattening it down. Alrighty, and after this step, what you would do is you would put it in your freezer for about 2 hours or so, just so it gets nice and hard. But to show you guys, I had one prepared ahead of time. So like I said, in this one, I used chocolate chips and I used Fruit Loops for all the different colors. What's great about using Fruit Loops or just different cereals is that you can ask your children different questions. So you could ask, what colors do you see? Or what does it feel like? Just different vocabulary questions just like that. And of course, different scents as well. And then just another thing is you can also add honey into it, or you can use maple syrup, which is definitely gonna get those different scents in there. And just before we finish, at the bottom, once you get the recipe, you'll see I have a different fun tips for kids. So like I mentioned, picking the cereal, and the fine motor with the walnuts, but a great thing is that you can also familiarize them with different measuring units. So a cup is bigger than a half a cup, or a tablespoon is bigger than a teaspoon, or a teaspoon is smaller than a tablespoon, just different stuff like that. And because I have to wait for 2 hours, you can also help your children grow on their patience and their waiting skills, because it won't work if it doesn't wait for 2 hours. So you can set a timer, and you and your children can wait and work on their patience and their waiting skills while you wait for this delicious treat to settle. And then once it's done, you just cut it and you enjoy it. Alrighty families, I hope you had a fun cook with me, and I hope you really enjoyed these DIY granola bars. Have fun!